Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the No Contest Wrestling Podcast. I am the heel that you love to hate, O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Hey, yo, it's me. It's that TOOJIGG, TJ Jefferson.
And today, we got a pretty special guest.
Yeah, man.
You know, we always appreciate when a legend gives us time. TJ, this is our first in-studio interview since Swerve, right?
Yeah, man. It's been a couple months. You know, we've been getting lucky getting people on Zoom, but it's, been a bit of a challenge to get someone to come into studio with us, schedules permitting. But we got one, man. We got a big one. And, we pre-taped him last week, just so everyone's aware.
Yeah, we taped him during our live episode. We had a jam-packed day. And the legendary X-Pac will be joining us on today's episode of the No Contest Wrestling Podcast. And TJ, I think you said that viewer discretion was advised.
Yeah, we just want to let everybody to know that, we had X-Pac, like O'Shea said, great pod as you're going to see. We touched on a lot of stuff from his beginning, coming up through the wrestling ranks to what went on with the Kliq, to the curtain call, to NWO versus DX and everything in between. But, we want to let you guys know that the language flowed a little freely this episode. So just want to put that out there. Maybe if you're in the car, you thought about watching with the kids, maybe you want to save this one for a little later in the night, or maybe, a little bit later. So they're not offended. Not that it's offensive, but just always like to let you know the words flowed freely this episode.
Yeah, we don't know what you do in your house. We just want to give you the respect as a parent. Maybe you don't want to hear some F words.
Yeah.
But
and he asked us at the beginning what the language situation was. We were like, "Hey, man, let it go." And then,
you're X-Pac.
Yeah, that's X-Pac.
But yes, obviously later on, in a couple of minutes, you will be able to see or hear wherever you listen to podcasts the X-Pac interview. But some wrestling did happen in this last week. First, TJ, I want to acknowledge my brother, my tag team partner. This is our last episode in our first Black History Month as a pod, brother. So I just want to wish you a happy Black History Month.
Same to you, my brother.
To our brothers and sisters who are fans of the No Contest Wrestling Podcast, and happy Black History Month to you. To our allies, people who just enjoy Black culture and think we cool and we think you cool back. Yeah. Happy Black History Month to you. But at the end of Black History Month, I had to watch Bianca Belair and Naomi lose the tag titles.
The one redeeming quality about that match was on Monday Night Raw. First of all, what a banger of a tag team
match. Was crazy.
All right,
bro.
Banger of a match. We don't do stars, but if we did, we give them pretty much all of them. Bianca, she did her thing. Naomi did her thing. Raquel did her thing. Friend of the show, Liv Morgan, she did her thing. Props. There was a lot of friends of NCW in that match with Dirty Dom, Bianca, and Liv. We just got to get Raquel and Naomi up in this.
Yeah, man, that match was great, man. Everybody involved should feel extremely pleased with themselves, except that ref. Because, bro, you saw Dom do it, dude. You didn't even kick him out, bro. I'm like, what do you do? Look away. But anyway. The match was crazy. Yeah. I was super entertained.
And you didn't know where it was going.
No, exactly. And wrestling fans, we're so smart nowadays that when those moments happen, it reminds you why you love it. So, I love the match. Obviously, it's all jokes. We know these performers, and we're happy for them to be able to put on a banger, especially the ladies main eventing. It adds so much more drama now to Chamber.
Yep.
And it just can go anywhere now.
I don't know what's going to happen in this thing, man.
Dude, it's must see. Now it's must see, which is what we want.
I kind of do, Shay, though. I kind of know, and I don't know if we want to save this for our WrestleMania predictions, Chamber predictions later or not, but I kind of feel like this is going to lead to Bianca and Rhea at WrestleMania, because that is where all that green stuff is going to get printed in an overabundance, that TKO money. is going to come shooting. You know those little guns that people have that shoot out dollar bills? Like TKO is going to have a couple 100,000 of those if they put Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair in a WrestleMania main event. But that's just my off the top of the dome thought.
That's why we do a pod together, brother, because as soon as it happened, that was the first thing I tweeted as well. Like, now Bianca is back into singles action, and she's going into this chamber with a higher probability in my eyes to win it, because I just didn't feel like with her being a tag team champion that they were going to put her in a singles beef.
Yeah.
And her and Rhea, we've been waiting for that for a long time. A lot of people have been, combating it with, they do deserve a longer feud and not just like kind of thrown together. But I mean, like,
I do agree.
That's the box office. And I mean, and there's also a world where that match happens and right. That match happens and maybe a Jade Cargill comes back and interferes, causing it to be a DQ. We don't know. We don't know what's going on.
I like not knowing.
Yeah, exactly. That's part of the game. That's why we got to watch. And real quick before we get into the interview, because it's a long one, NXT, obviously, there's a lot to talk about. We don't have a lot of time. Welcome back to the Hardys.
No doubt.
The Hardys, what a pop they got, and they brought out all the hits, the Poetry in Motion, Whisper in the Wind, the Swanton, even though Jeff wasn't even a legal man when he hit it. But anyway.
Look, referees do better.
Yeah. Gearing up for Oba versus Moose, Hardys versus Fraxium. Ricky Saints is doing his thing. Trick Williams got a little, he puffed up his chest a little bit on my man Javon Evans.
Right?
But
Yo, Shay, somebody on Twitter just about an hour ago, I saw a tweet that said Javon Evans is the wrestler most likely to say naysayer on live TV. And I just
yeah, bro. Because he stepped up to Trick, he pulled his pants up. I was like, oh man, this is black as hell right now.
Because you know what happens when you start pulling up the pants. There ain't there's only one way to go at that point.
Up.
You know what I mean?
And then I think the biggest thing to take away from NXT, which I'm having mixed feelings about, is Stephanie and Julia challenged each other belt for belt.
Yeah, man. I don't know how I feel. I like the match. I don't know if I like the belt for belt already, but
already is crazy. It's insane.
Shay, the only thing that tells to me or says to me right now is those two are in NXT for a good time, not a long time. Because if you're already putting them up against together, there must be plans already for them to get called up fairly quickly, I would assume.
Yeah, and the winner is dipping, I guess.
Or the loser's dipping.
Right. Yeah, because the winner got both belts. What you gonna do? But then, wait, hold on one second. I'm hearing interference.
Are you hearing Luka news again? Because last time you did this, we went viral. Are you hearing something? Who else did the Lakers just steal? Did the Lakers get Steph Curry now all of a sudden?
Chill, bro. Jokic shows interest in Lakers after getting his ass beat by 23. But anyway, so we have this match, and I don't know which way it's going to weigh. That's why we watch. And I low-key think it's happening next week. I just
kind of fast.
I just don't. Yeah, like I just don't understand. But I mean, what are we gonna do? Not watch?
Right? They could stretch this out a minute, though.
They definitely could have stretched that out. We were all waiting for it since they signed, and then for it to happen as quick as it has once they both become champions, it like you said, somebody's getting called up. Mania's too close. The Raw after Mania is coming. But yeah, I'm a little off about that. I don't think it's time, but they're not paying me, so right. I'm gonna just shut the hell up.
Look, I'm gonna let Chef Sean do what he do. Let that man stay in that kitchen and cook, and we'll see what kind of appetizers, what kind of main plates we get. But I'm here for it without question.
Absolutely, and also Jordan Grace punched the hell out of friend of the show, Roxanne Perez, and
I don't ever like seeing Roxanne get jawed like that, but hey,
Yeah, not our Roxanne.
She's tough. She could take it.
Yeah, she's a prodigy, bro. She's built for this.
What was that Cam said? You tough? You know?
Yeah, you tough. You're right. Rub some dirt on it.
You tough?
Which is like
you tough naysayer.
That's the worst advice ever. Like, yo, like, Dad, I broke my leg. Yeah, rub some dirt on it.
Rub some Robitussin on it.
What? Yeah, rub some of that tussin on there.
Right.
Like, yeah, man. But Roxanne Perez, obviously, you and Jordan have already put on a banger before. This will be fun to watch.
Yeah.
We're excited to see everybody who has done this little TNA takeover of NXT. We're all putting our belts against each other. It should be fun to watch, but not as fun to watch as the X-Pac interview for NCW, bro.
And remember,
I think it's what?
Remember, if the kids are around, you might want to wait till a little bit later. Just our advice.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, our guest has gone from everywhere from making us believers to making some of us have detention and get suspended at school.
Oh, thousands of hours of detention this man was responsible for.
Whether you call him the Lightning Kid or 1, 2, 3,
or just the kid.
By the time he turned to Pac, it was all eyes on D's. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a multiple-time tag team champion, a cruiserweight champion, a 2-time light heavyweight champion, a 2-time European champion, and a 2-time Hall of Famer who's got 2 words for you. X-Pac.
What's up, man?
Welcome to the pod, bro. How you doing? You like
Great
that
to
intro?
be here. Thank you so much,
got
man.
you, man.
Yes, sir.
I
Thank
got
you.
you.
Of all those titles you mentioned, my favorite of those is the European title.
Yeah?
It looks sweet.
Yeah.
How's the language situation on here?
You can
Whatever you want, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks sweet as fuck. And it was just like, at the time, it was the working man's belt. It was the belt that like was going to put on usually the best match on the show.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense, yeah.
Oh.
And it was a beautiful
Because
title.
in the 90s, like in the early 90s, the IC belt was like Scott, Razor and Shawn
Yeah.
having those great matches. That was like the working man's belt. So, anyways.
That's a good thing to pay
Yeah.
attention to because now I'm thinking of people like, yourself and D'Lo Brown. And,
David
Yeah.
Boy Smith had the European title.
Yeah.
And,
You didn't mention the GWF light heavyweight title, the one that I had when I was Lightning Kid, and like I was probably more proud of that than I was at any other belt, like because I was just starting out, and it was, ESPN every day, and it was a real belt, like it was, and I was like, oh man, I finally made it,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Now,
That's dope.
when I do the introductions, my main thing is to kind of make the guests feel appreciated when they come on and do the accolades. But dude, your accolades are like you've been around the world and you've touched gold in a lot of places. We'd be here all day, but you've also gotten a lot of different names over the years. But your first name, Shawn.
Yeah.
So can you let us know when Shawn got bit by that wrestling bug?
Really got bit. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
When you were
the
like, I
hook
need
got
this.
sunk in.
Yeah.
I was 10 and I went to my first live match I grew up in St. Pete, Florida.
Okay.
And there was an arena there called the Bayfront Center Arena, and it was like the South version of Madison Square Garden. It was like, it was shaped like, there was like a mini Madison Square Garden. And it was Flair and Dusty for the title on top.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'll do
And
it.
like all the Kevin Sullivan when he was doing, I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Yeah.
Doing the like devil worship gimmick.
Yeah.
That shit was like, when I was a
freaky.
kid, oof.
That was freaky scary.
Motherfuckers were scared to death of Kevin Sullivan in the state of Florida.
Just run the state of Florida.
But anyways, so I mean, it hooked me right away. And like, I was just all about wrestling ever since, man.
Now, were you born in Minnesota though?
No,
Oh, you
St.
weren't?
Pete, Florida.
St. Pete, Florida. Okay.
But Minnesota was like also my family's, like a home state. So
okay.
I grew up there too a little bit, and so I left Florida. I started in Florida, trained by Dean Malenko's dad,
Boris, right?
Boris, yeah. but I went to Minnesota, and Minnesota was great to me. And it's you know, I still consider it home. My kids are there, my grandson's there.
Okay.
So yeah.
What is it about Minnesota? There's so many legendary wrestlers have come from that area, man. Like what is it in the water? Like what is it about that?
I came from two different wrestling capitals, Tampa and Minnesota.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that AWA, like Vern Gagne and all that, man, he was really big on training real athletes.
Yeah.
You know? And there was just a lot of big motherfuckers in Minnesota, man.
Yeah.
Big old Viking, like Norwegian motherfuckers.
Speaking Nord, the Viking,
Scandinavian,
the Road Warriors.
Yeah, man.
Rick
Scott Norton,
Kurt Hennig.
Yeah,
you know?
I was around all those guys,
yeah.
man. I was like hard to like try to
stand out.
Well, no, I mean I stood out because I was just I was skinny and like I worked different. You know, my matches were different than a lot of the big guys when I moved to Minnesota. So, but yeah, no, it's just amazing talent came out of both of those cities.
It
man.
really did.
Like especially like Robbinsdale High School, Rick Rude, Kurt Hennig, like,
Tom Zink from there, right?
Well, just tons of guys, man. It's insane.
Amazing.
So I'm really grateful I got to come up in those two areas.
So you were like one of the first guys that I saw incorporate a lot of martial arts type stuff into your wrestling. Yeah. What is your martial art background? Like what is your...
Well, I started doing Taekwondo like right around the same time I went to my first wrestling match.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I got pretty good at it, but I just loved wrestling too much, man. And got really good at it actually, but it was interfering with my going to wrestling on Tuesday nights.
Really?
You know?
Don't do it.
Yeah, man. So I just had to pick one, man.
Yeah. No, real quick, I also saw that in 9th grade, you got kicked off or you left the wrestling team because they wanted you to cut your hair.
I didn't make it. Like I was training in the wrestling. Like when my first year I got to high school, I was doing really well at it. And they were like, I was wrestling state champion level guys in the wrestling room when I was just starting out. Like I was just really good at it. But I was just a punk kid, and I didn't want to cut my hair, and I didn't even want to show up to school anyways. Like that was one of the only classes I showed up to. Like I just showed up to the shit I liked, and then, I washed out of school I didn't make it past 9th grade.
Oh, word. Yeah. Because that bug had hit you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you made your choice. You made your choice of where you were going, what you wanted to do.
Thank God it worked out, man.
I mean, you might
flipping burgers or whatever the fuck, man.
All right. So, I mean, that's an early time to kind of get bit by the bug. Obviously, your martial arts background.
I wouldn't have made it in wrestling if it wasn't for the martial arts.
Yeah.
And the way I incorporated it. And I figured out how to, because like there was a lot of guys that would do like martial arts shit in their matches, but it just looked like bullshit. It looked like they were looked like they were holding back, and I looked like I was killing motherfuckers.
Yeah, there were your kicks.
Yeah, for sure. All right, that's a perfect setup because now it's got to be a two-parter. Can you tell us when was your welcome to wrestling moment? A bump where you were like, all right, yeah, that one hurt, or like just anything where you kind of was like, all right, this is the choice we made.
Like, okay,
yeah.
There's one that there's like a couple that aren't as well known. Like I caught somebody coming off the top rope. It was before I got to WWF, and their weight came down on my head, and I crashed onto the concrete, and I had a blood clot in my brain. Yeah, I was in the hospital for a few days.
I read about that.
Yeah. That was one of them when they were like, hey, you probably should think about doing something else.
Yeah.
But the one that like you all might have seen was, I don't know if you remember when I beat Razor, right? And then he's challenging me $10,000.
We were going to get to that.
We had the match, and then I fucking fall off the top rope. I slip and I smack my head on the concrete.
Yeah.
And still had to finish the match.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be the finish, and it got fucked up, and we had to call something on the fly as I'm like knocked out cold, and it still worked.
Wow.
we still managed to get the business done. Yeah.
That is insane how they're able to continue when something.
Yeah,
everything was
Lord
on the
knows.
line. If I would have been done.
Yeah.
My storyline would have been fucking done.
Well,
man.
let's talk about, let's get into that part. You come in, I can remember I was watching that day, and here we got this guy. You didn't even have a name, if I'm not mistaken, right? You weren't 1, 2, 3 kid at that point. You didn't.
Just a kid.
You were just a kid, and you came out and you beat Scott Hall. Can you take us through how you found out you were going to go over?
All right, so it goes back to I have my tryout matches the day after WrestleMania 9 in Vegas.
Okay.
Not one of the greatest WrestleManias.
That's the Yoko and
The Bret Hart go get him to Hall.
And so like TV's in Phoenix the next day, and so I get a call from Sergeant Slaughter. And I'm in the middle of promoting a show in Minneapolis. It's a big independent show. Road Warrior Hawk versus Terry Funk on top. I'm wrestling Sabu on the show.
Wow.
There's a lot of cool Masa Saito's on. There's a lot of cool shit on this show. And I'm thinking, Sergeant Slaughter, is he trying to call me to get on this show? I didn't put 2 and 2 together. And he's telling me, they're doing TV tapings in Phoenix after WrestleMania. And I'm like, who the fuck's doing TV tapings in Phoenix after WrestleMania? Not thinking WWE, right?
Yeah.
Because I just didn't think I was on their radar as far as.
Yeah.
I thought WCW maybe, but that didn't work out. And so, I finally figured out it was WWE calling. And then, man, I just took full advantage of that. My tryout, I had a guy named Louis Spicolli.
Louis Spicolli, okay.
That I was able to pick him to have my match with instead of could have been somebody else that wasn't as enthusiastic about helping me get a job. You know what I mean?
Louis had worked together previously?
Louis, no, but I knew he was really good, and we knew each other, and he took really good care of me out there. Caught me on my big dives, and just based me on everything. And I got a job, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was. I didn't know I got the job until about, I don't know, a month later. It might have been less, but it seemed like fucking forever waiting for that call.
You're waiting on
right?
that.
Yeah.
Look, just staring at the phone.
And I had a New Japan. I was already hired by New Japan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't have a contract with them, but I was on my way to the Super Junior tournament in '93, which I still went and did. But yeah, so
That's
all of a sudden,
brutal.
all at once, man, I had all this
came.
shit on my plate, you know, and I had to make a decision. It was an easy decision, right?
Yeah.
So finally, I get a call, and it's Vince and Pat Patterson on the phone, and he's like, he runs the whole thing by me, you're gonna come out the first week, you're gonna get beat, second week you're gonna beat again, and even told me he knew who I was gonna get beat by, Curtis Hughes and Doink.
Okay.
And I got beat too.
Yeah.
They didn't know why. They didn't know me. They didn't know I was getting a job, so they were like, what?
Yeah.
Which was fine. I'm fine with all that. But so we laid the whole thing out, and he's like, yeah, then you have the match with Razor Ramon, and he's like, he's one of our top guys, and I'm like, I know fucking Razor Ramon,
Yeah.
But and then he tells me, and then you're gonna beat him, and there's this, and it's like, and then you're gonna, and I'm just like,
Yeah. What's that
holy
like?
fuck. And he's like, how does that sound? I'm like, what do you mean, how does that sound? Are you fucking kidding me? Because you know how it goes, you guys, right? Somebody gets hired, they come up with a fucking gimmick for name, and have creative, have somebody draw up a costume, and they make them a fucking, and they did that for me too, and I hated it. But
I mean,
but everyone gets a vignette, and then they have a couple squash matches, and they're supposed to get over like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's this is the greatest way ever anybody's ever been fucking brought in, as far as I'm concerned.
solid. I mean, to be put over with somebody like Razor. I mean,
like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What do you think it was about you that had made Vince have this vision for your character?
I killed it in my tryouts.
Yeah.
I fucking killed it. Yeah.
Shout out Louis Spicolli. Rest in peace, man.
And then I had friends too, like Kurt Hennig. You know, like he walks. I'm standing outside Vince's office waiting to just have him like pop out and even look at me right after my tryouts. And Kurt's like, "Hey, you want a job here?" And I'm like, and I knew Kurt from Minnesota. And I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" Like, and so he just walks in and like Vince's office doesn't even knock. Like, you know, he goes, "Okay," walks back out.
You're good.
Wow.
Which I don't know, like, Kurt was a bullshitter. Like, he fucked people too, so.
Oh, no.
But who knows?
That'd have been a mean prank. Right. That would have been a mean one, yeah.
Who knows what he said?
You're right.
Bret came up to me and like put me over, like, and I was a big, huge fucking Bret Hart fan, so.
Yeah.
I was, you know, I was excited. I was just. It
How
was
old
just
were you at this
incredible,
time?
man. Like, 'cause this is my dream, and it's all fucking coming true, you know?
How old were you right now at this point?
20, barely 20.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you're that young, you get word that you're going over. And it before, during, and after, kind of take us through that moment with Razor.
Because, like, so also, this isn't just about bringing me in and introducing me. Like, the actual main, like, objective of this whole storyline was turning Scott babyface. Because the people were already turning him, you know?
Yeah.
So this was like killing two birds with one stone, right? So I get to fast forward past the two squash matches where Doink and Curtis Hughes beat me. I'm just sitting there I'm there early at the Manhattan Center, and I'm just waiting. I'm like all fucking excited. I don't realize these guys are coming. They're like on a red eye from out here to New York, you know, tired as fuck. I'm all excited. I got all these ideas. All this shit I want to do, right? Yeah. I'm like, Scott comes up to me and is like, and I'm like, I'm thinking maybe I do like, and Scott, he's like just tired as fuck looking. And he's like, and he looked at Pat. He goes, "Pat, what do you want me to do?" And he goes, "Just miss something. I haven't hit you with something." And I'm like, "Moonsault." It just came out of my fucking mouth, you guys. And I'm not like a moonsault. Like my moonsault is like one of the worst fucking moonsault. It's famous moonsault, but it's a shitty moonsault. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, we did that. He moves out of the way. I hit him. Fucking everything worked great. You know.
It's the most important moonsault.
Right? Yeah.
Dude, it's a like.
And you got that.
As far as moments go in my career, there's not even a close second as far as important moments go.
For sure.
Dude.
Because that started everything. Really.
It all comes down to
literally
this.
once that 1, 2, 3 got hit, everything changed for you.
Yeah.
You know?
And then just like, you know, I had to go to Japan, so Scott's telling, you know, coming out every week and challenging me, you know, and I shot these vignettes, these promo, whatever the fuck you want to call them. Like Sergeant Slaughter brought me to his house and we shot these, he produced these fucking, me all nervous, like telling Scott, I'm, you know, it's not worth it for me, you know, I'm going to get killed out there or whatever. And then $10,000 does the trick, right? So,
I mean, it's solid.
Yeah.
Solid reasoning for $10,000. Now, you've told us about your Welcome to Wrestling moment, something that I've seen you bring up before, the Bret Hart match, okay, for the title.
Yeah.
All right. You mentioned that you caught him a couple of times, you know, the hard potatoes.
a little bit, yeah.
Those are some famous ones. It's always fun to hear. Is there a time where you're like, oh, I know I kind of hit the shit out that guy a little bit? And like, you know, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But like, so let us know a few of those moments if you got them.
I don't know. I think I clocked Jeff Jarrett a few times because he started going down before I even hit him after a while. You'd see me go over that kicking that motherfucker and I'd be on the way down.
Shout out to Jeff
That's hard,
Jarrett.
man. That's hard to blame him. I tell him put the hand up.
Yeah.
Put the hand up, man.
Yeah.
I got Luke Gallows, man, at the fuck. Because he's 6'8".
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta get up.
Guy, yeah.
You gotta get up.
And so I told him, put the hand up, man, for that spinning crescent kick I do.
Yeah.
And we're in the gathering of the Juggalos.
Woo.
Yeah, their shows and them motherfucking shows don't get going until like 2, 3 in the morning. Like,
What?
I mean, they're scheduled for like midnight, but like they don't start till 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Anyways, he didn't put the hand up, man.
He didn't put
Oh,
the hand.
he was out.
He didn't put the
He kept
hand
trying
up.
to get back up, and oh fuck, man,
Yeah.
because he had to get to the corner for the Bronco Buster,
Right.
and he kept tripping and falling. Like I don't want to laugh because like,
Right.
dude, that's a concussion right there, and I'm
Yeah.
responsible for it. So
Man,
yeah, dude.
it happens.
It's not ballet, like Jim
Yeah.
Ross always says.
It's not
right?
ballet.
It's not ballet.
I got like a list. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna name names, but I got some guys that fucking used to like routinely take my fucking head off too. But like, here's the thing: when they would do it, it would get a great reaction, and I was addicted to the fucking reaction.
Booze and
So I
eyes.
was like, "Oh, bring it," you know.
That's why. Hit me again hard.
Right, I know. Hey, let's sell this, baby.
Sami Zayn damn near fucking took my head off, like
Really?
with that haluva kick.
Yeah, the haluva.
And I wouldn't have brought it up, but he brought it up.
Okay.
He brought it up in an interview saying, "Yeah, I killed him with it." Like it was
Yeah.
like my head was like a rock'em sock'em robot. It was like, came
Yeah.
up off
I
the
mean,
thing.
that move alone, just certain times where I look and I'm like, he caught him. Like there's no way. Like there's no way.
Right.
Like it happens so quick and it's so fluent of
It's just like pow.
Yeah, man. Because I mean, in movies, doing fight scenes, you get caught. You get caught all the time. In the first Den of Thieves, Gerard Butler, there's a scene where I'm bloodied up in the back of a truck, and Gerard Butler is supposed to be.
Yeah, they're working you over in the back of the
exactly.
truck. Yeah.
I know the scene.
He caught me with that fucking skull ring,
Yeah.
dude. Ooh, like you see this flash of light, this quick flash of light. So I know it happens, and it's funny to know, like it's just to get into the mind of a wrestler who timing is everything.
Yeah.
Where you guys are out there, make sure I'm able to go home. Accidents happen.
Get your hand
And I
up.
know that haluva kick has taken some chins, man.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
It's all right. I never mentioned it because I've lit some motherfuckers up.
It
too,
happens,
and
right?
It's just as part of the thing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it is. Like, there's some guys that are just like, no, that's not what wrestling's about. And like, I get that too. Like, but I like my shit to look real.
Yeah.
And I like when somebody hits me for that shit to look real.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I mean, hey.
I'm fine with it.
Absolutely. Now, take us through that match, though, with Bret, of just the excitement of, like, for the title, Bret Hart, the hitman. Like, that's got to be, for a fan and a lover of wrestler, I mean, I'm happy for you, So, like, take us through, getting the news and going through that match.
I just had that match with Owen Hart at King of the Ring. It was a short match, but, like, everyone really loved it, and Bret really loved it. And I'm not sure how the match got made, but I think Pat told Bret, hey, you're having a match with a kid in 2 weeks, and Bret told me, and Bret and I rode together. I rode with him sometimes. Yeah, and Bret was so giving in that match, man. Like he kind of he didn't turn heel, but he was the heel in that fucking match.
Yeah.
He
Brad was behind you.
He was on me, and he made sure the people were behind me. And that was he's the top babyface of the company, so it's like, thank you.
Yeah.
And he let me do all my shit, man. He's like, he put it in the proper place, but he let me do everything I wanted to do. Some of that shit I never even used to, I jackknifed him
Yeah.
but yeah.
And you were a Bret Hart fan, right?
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. And that's that's the greatest match I've ever had.
Word,
for
yeah.
sure.
Oh, word.
And there's like 7 minutes missing, like from like the actual match itself. Like that, they chopped it up a little bit to fit it into.
Really?
Yeah, to fit it into that segment. Yeah, it was like a half an hour match.
Need that vault uncut
Right?
match,
It's
man.
there somewhere, man.
And like, so they kept coming up to us, like, and saying, "Hey, we need you for the match," and Bret wasn't ready yet, and so he just kept telling them, "No, we're not ready," and they kept pushing the match back till we were ready. You can't do that now.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, it was taped. You know,
Yeah.
the show was taped.
Fair.
Tell us about the Kliq.
Just I mean, just we all loved wrestling, and we were guys that everybody like driving down the road just talking about getting laid and like all of that shit, and we were just, bro, we get out of work and we just keep talking about work, you know.
So for people who aren't familiar, I'll let you tell the people who comprised this group before you entered.
Well, like the original foundation is Sean and Scott, because they were like,
Shawn Michaels and Scott Hall.
I'm sorry, Shawn Michaels and Scott Hall, and they were tight before WWE. They were like in AWA together, and they hung out, Kurt Hennig. And like,
Because Kurt and Scott were tag team champions.
yeah,
in
and
AWA.
Kurt was a mentor to those guys.
Okay.
And he was to me too. And then, so anyways, I did the business with Scott, and so he took me under his wing, and like he was a fan of mine from GWF anyways.
Okay.
And that Scott was a guy that took young guys under his wing and tried to, nurture them, so we were always in the car together, and we decided, hey man, like and Kev, Big Kev, and we just decided we're all gonna kind of like be a unit, and stick together and have each other's backs, and try to make
Change
shit
the
better
business,
and
yeah.
try to make shit better for us, and yeah, man, and we like to all go out and get fucked up until Paul came.
Yeah. So Paul Triple H, he came out.
Yeah.
From what I understand, Triple H wasn't a partier, wasn't a drinker. He was more like your designated driver.
He wasn't.
It wasn't designated.
No, he was it was great when we added him. When he became part. He ended up driving a lot.
You're like, no, but yeah, he did.
but he could go out and have a great time without getting fucked up.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's just some people are wired different, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I used to be like that. In Hollywood back in the day, I'd always be out in the clubs. I never really liked it. I drink to be social, but I didn't need to drink. I'd be dancing on the table without it, and I would be the designated driver for my friends. But people are like, "How are you not drinking?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm just cooling." It didn't really need to drink to have fun. So I completely get, that aspect of it.
It just and we worked with each other a lot. I worked with Kev when Kev first started having matches as Diesel when he first came in. Like I had his first singles matches with him. I worked with Paul when Paul first came in as Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Scott and I worked a bunch. We all interchanged. We would do. You ever see the tag match that we had?
I was just about to bring that
Action
up.
Zone.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's up there with it's not the Bret Hart match, but it's like right underneath that as far as quality.
It's
just one of the best tag matches of that era.
Would you say that those are the guys you had the most chemistry with? Was there anybody outside of the Kliq where you were like, when I'm in the ring with this dude, we're
Just money.
Jeff Jarrett. Well, I mean, as far as guys that I had
Jeff.
great chemistry with, Jeff was one of them. Tons of guys, man. I had good chemistry with D'Lo.
Yeah. D'Lo Brown.
Damn, everyone just about, man. I loved
Some great workers.
I loved the APA, man. I loved
Oh
them guys.
man, we gotta get them on, man.
Well, just like when you're a baby face and you got guys like that can really get some heat on you and bring it, it's like, oh yeah. You might get knocked around a little bit, but,
but it's working.
It's great. It's perfect. Yeah.
So, I'm envisioning, you, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, and Diesel all packed into a minivan, making towns together, just talking about the business.
Trying to cram all the luggage in. Like
hundreds of hours, thousands of miles on the road, man. Like, what were those road trips like? You said you talked the business.
Yep.
But, like, man, to be they say to be a fly on the wall, but to be, I don't know, a fly inside the car, I don't know.
Right.
We talked a lot about, like, the trial, like we refined our style by trial and error every night and listening to the people and seeing what kind of reactions we were getting and, all that. And so we spent a lot of time, like, talking about that kind of stuff. And just also, about, how the direction that we wish the company would be going and creatively and, like, more, like, people talk a lot about the new generation era and the cartoon character, like the Duke the Dumpsters and the fucking plumbers and the
Dennis.
hockey players, the dentists. Like, it's just, so we hated that, but we did the best we could with what, Vince is the boss and,
At what point did you realize, because it seems, we've read this so much, what point did you realize that you kind of had the boss's ear, though? Is it because you guys were just so business oriented?
And just Shawn had a relationship with Vince where he could be very, frank with him.
Open and honest about it.
I mean, more than that. Like, he can get away with talking
crazy.
He can motherfuck Vince and get away with it.
Right.
So, and so that helped.
Yeah.
That helped.
Because I've also heard that, like, Vince would like it when people had their own ideas, who would, like, just show the initiative that they wanted to further their careers. And it seemed like all you guys had that.
At the end of the day, we were doing it his way, though.
Yeah.
Until the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Until, like, it was just like, Scott and Kevin, I left, and, they started getting beat, ratings-wise, and it just wasn't working, what they were doing, and finally Vince listened, right, to Shawn and Paul.
Wow. I mean, that's got to, just to say, skipping ahead a little bit, we'll come back, but you mentioned Shawn and Paul.
Yeah.
As fans, we always seen DX as the inmates running the asylum. Like, that's just what the look was. How crazy is it that they're doing it right now? With Paul running things for SmackDown and Raw and Shawn over at NXT. Just speak a little bit on how what you feel about their success in the creative and booking.
I just think for the moment, for this time that we're in right now, I don't think we could have. And I say this, and it could come off being biased or whatever, to my dear friends and that, but, like, I mean, even just objectively, like, I can't imagine somebody not realizing that they're the two best people we could have doing those jobs right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a long run, man.
As a fan, I hope so as well. Because we speak about how on fire they are.
As a wrestling fan, like, I just feel like there was several years there where it was like,
it was tough.
It was like the abusive relationship. It was like, how can you, like,
keep watching this?
Wrestle, like, your fans don't want this, and you're gonna give it to them anyways.
Yeah,
because it's my way,
Right, and it falls into, not every reaction is a good react. Like, they always say, controversy, you're still getting talked about.
Controversy creates cash.
Yeah, but
no publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah, and that's just not true.
Fuck that. Trust me, I know.
Yeah. That shit is just not true. And yeah, there was a portion where it was just like it did feel shoved down your throat a little bit. And you know, I've acknowledged that there was a time where I had to step back and you know, I was away from watching for a long time. And to get to where we are now, I think personally there's a lot of things that contributed to it. You know, there's this trope about me that I have a problem with All Elite. And I feel like they've made WWE show their fangs, you know? Yeah. And that is what we as WWE fans needed to happen. I need to see the fangs. I need you to flex those muscles a little bit. And I just feel like they haven't taken their foot off the gas. And a lot of that is because of Paul and Shawn.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also having that competition, having that other place that
Healthy.
you know that, you know, if don't work
It's an
here, we
option.
can go there.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it
I
just,
see the discourse about like, you know, you being by like hating AEW and all that. And like, I mean, I like the shit I see talk about, it's all fair, man. You know?
Dude,
Yeah.
I got people over there that I am a fan of
Me
that
too.
are cool with me, that we chop it up. It's not anything that I've ever felt like I need to, or I want this place gone. I just don't like everything. I don't like everything that WWE does either. And I'm going to speak that, but they're sensitive over there. The guys on the IWC, not necessarily AEW, but the people that I'm yelling at on Twitter. And if anybody follows me on Twitter, you know I get aggressive.
yeah, I mean, look, that's all Twitter and that's all BS. But the fact of the matter is, man, I'm a wrestling fan. I won't say I'm a WWE fan or I'm a this fan. I'm a wrestling fan. So I enjoy watching wrestling. And if it's good, even better, you know? So I love the fact that another company can thrive because, like I said, it makes it better for everyone.
For everyone.
You know? That's how
people
I
got
personally
jobs.
look at it. Yeah,
people
man.
getting jobs.
That's the
People
thing,
are working.
man. There's more people making money right now.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Can't knock that.
Definitely not. So we talked about the Kliq and what they meant, but what was the feeling backstage when it seems, you know, from all we've read that the Kliq, you know, you guys kind of people say
How much heat did we
you
have?
got your way and you had this heat. What was it like having to deal with, you know, you had the BSK, the Bone Street crew, you know, other crews. Was there tension?
No, man. That like anyone that says that doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. We all got along great.
Oh,
Yeah. A lot of that is just shit that people talk and because things sound cool to make like, you know, like this lore.
Yeah.
This fucking mythic lore or whatever the fuck. Like, but no, we all got along at that level. Like there was guys that resented us. And I understand, man, because times were tough. A lot of people were miserable and we come walking in all happy and like, you know, I mean, things were tough for us too. It's just, we were made the best of it, you know?
Yeah.
And it, also like, even when like, everyone hated like Scott, Sean, maybe not so much Kev or whatever, but Paul, like they all still like me for some reason.
Is that weird to be that guy? Like, you know, those guys heat, but we're cool with you.
Yeah, like back in the day, like when like if we were trying to score pills to like, you know, take after the show and like they'd always go, you go ask everyone, they like you. Like, I'd come back with a handful of shit.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Now, during your, you know, this long career that you've had, bro, you've wrestled some greats. You were there for some up and comers, and obviously, in the business, a lot of it is opportunity.
Yeah.
We've talked to a lot of people who, you know, LA Knight is one who, you know, with the character that he was at a certain time, he didn't know if he'd ever get the opportunity to become LA Knight. Yeah. And so we understand that it's all about right place, right time a lot of the time. Is there anybody that you can name where you felt like personally they had it, just not the opportunity?
Wow. Holy shit.
It's an
That's a tough
NCW
question, man. Yeah, I don't know if I have a good answer for that. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't come up with somebody, but like, I just think there's a lot, man.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, like, you brought up LA Knight, right? Like, and you know, like they were pushing. Well, if you want to call it a push, they were using him as Max Dupree,
male model agent.
It doesn't matter, like, how much like you have it. If that's what you got to work with, man, that's like really hard to go out there and, you know, break out, right?
Yeah.
I'm working with a lot of. Have you heard of that WWID program?
Yeah.
The new thing.
They just got new
I coach
titles.
those kids on, like over Zoom. Like they send me the matches and.
Wow.
Yeah.
Over Zoom is wild.
Yeah. So we like, you know, play the match and I'll push pause and then I'll go, hey, what the fuck was that? Or like, hey, that was good or whatever, you know.
Are you
help them refine their.
You seeing some talent out there?
Yeah.
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 Come up.
Yeah.
A lot of great athletes involved in this.
Yeah, the last guest that we had was Liv Morgan, and Liv,
I'm a big Liv fan.
she you know, she obviously came up in a faction with the Riot Squad, but they weren't exactly tallying up wins.
Right.
They didn't necessarily have a direction that it looked like for them, and a question. You know, she went on in many Rumbles and other matches, and you know, it led to her being a 2-time champion now. But it was for a while she had the record for quickest elimination in the Rumble with 8 seconds.
Right.
And it's easy for you to be discouraged with stuff like that. Is there anything, a question that I wanted to ask her, but we didn't have enough time. Is there anything that you can speak to young superstars that might be in that situation? Like the times where you gotta do what's best for business and the times where you gotta speak up for yourself.
Like for the most part, when you're given the assignment, like at least like when you're coming up, man, like you don't have a lot of like stroke to be saying, hey, I don't want to do this or that. So you have to just take what they give you and do the fucking best you can at it, man.
Make chicken
once
salad
you're out
out
there,
chicken,
whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, because once the camera's on and like you're doing your thing, you're in control then. Like, and so do your shit, man. Do it the fucking best you can. And I just think when it comes to like knowing when to speak up, it's all based on like how much you can handle mentally. Like I mean, I don't know, like, I don't think anything's worth fucking losing your mind over and losing your peace, you know, like, it might cost you.
Yeah.
You know, you might have to leave and go somewhere else or I don't know. It's a case-by-case situation, man.
Case by case, for sure.
How about, like,
I mean, when it came,
for you guys.
When I first started my acting career, I was put in a great situation with it being, you know, the NWA film Straight Outta Compton. But even then, I had this want to show that I'm here to do the work. And so when my father tells me you're going to have to audition, of course, like I will want to audition. Number one, I'm scared to death. I was in my second year of college. I wanted to be a screenwriter. And now this other thing presents itself. And I really felt like if I said no, I was going to regret it. And it's not anything more than like, oh, you had an opportunity to be in a movie. It was just because my dad had never asked me to do anything.
Right.
He's never asked anything of me. And he's finally been like, yo, I need you. And I'm going to tell him no. Yeah. So like, it was a moment of just like.
Had to be some pressure on.
Yeah. Right? But it's like, all right, Dad, I'll try. And from there, it was a 2-year auditioning process, and I leave during my second year, okay, of college.
You're in USC,
It takes me 2, fight on, USC. And so for 2 years, I don't have this job that I left school for, watching my friends graduate without me. And so, like, I'm scared to death. And so, like, now I have to get it. It works out. The movie's a success. But then after that, now I got to go get stuff on my own. So now I'm reading scripts, trying to find what's the right decision. And I'm going on sets that are not as illustrious as a Universal picture. You know, it was some wild times. And while I'm there, I just felt like I had to keep my head down, not make waves, because they already think, oh, you're some fucking rapper's son. You're going to come in here entitled.
They're expecting you to be a certain way already.
Exactly. Right? So I just wanted to no matter what, not complaining, do your thing, and just, kind of do what I'm told. Show that I'm easily directable. And just like, I'm here to do business. But then once I get to like my 9th, 10th project, I'm like, okay, bro, I know what like shouldn't be happening, or I know what I can
speak up.
Yeah,
right?
Hell yeah.
Same with wrestling.
Yeah,
the way that what you just laid out right there, same exact fucking thing for wrestling, man. You got, when you're early on, sometimes you gotta eat a little shit. Sometimes you gotta, just do like what you gotta do. Be the good,
just to get by,
good soldier. Yeah.
Get the good
get
report
that
card.
Reputation. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So one of the
Thank you for answering my question.
That was some Inception shit right there.
So Shawn, speaking of the Kliq, one of the biggest moments in the history of all of pro wrestling was the curtain call.
Yeah.
Now I realize you weren't around at the moment that happened, but I've never heard this from anyone. Can you tell us? Did you know what was going to happen? Were you in contact with the guys at that point? Like, what is the curtain call from your POV, your point of view?
I don't know. Like, they didn't know they were going to do that until that night,
And if I could, Shawn, just to, we'll let people who might not know, the curtain call was Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were leaving WWF at the point. Shawn and Triple H decided after Shawn had a match with Kevin that they were going to come out as like a group gesture, kind of show love and send their friends off.
Yeah.
Which at that point broke kayfabe in a way that it's never been broken in wrestling before. And it was just such a huge moment that a lot of people look at as like, the end of a certain type of era. Yeah. You being a member of that Kliq, now we can get back in, like your point.
I was in... Like I've told this story before, so like people already know. I was in rehab for the first time.
Okay.
At that moment, but I was on the phone with Scott, all the time, mainly Scott.
So he always looked out and checked.
Yeah. He was the one that updated me on everything, even after like they left and like they were in WC. I was still in the loop on everything that was going on and like the NWO stuff and before I showed up. So he just told me what happened, man. Like, and people were fucking pissed, man, and I get it.
Yeah.
Like it's just like going against everything we're told. Like, there's a time you would have gotten fucked up for doing something like that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Bro.
Like it seems like in the Bill Watts era and stuff like that. Because they say Bill Watts, I heard like if you got into a bar fight and you lost, he would fire you from the territory.
That wasn't just Bill, but
a lot of people like that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and to me, it reminds me of after a Broadway play's over and everyone comes out and does the fucking bow and like takes the,
curtain call.
Yeah. So,
but they couldn't have had any idea that moment in time that they were creating, though, right? It was just
I don't think
we want to say goodbye to our friends.
Yeah,
I'm just guessing they didn't really think about like the repercussions.
Yeah. It's my last time with my guys.
Vince told them they could do it.
That was
And then
That's the
afterwards, it's
fucked
like,
up
well, I
part.
didn't think you were going to do that. Like, woohoo.
and you know what?
I'm going to have to punish somebody. I can't punish you, Sean. So, Paul, in the doghouse.
And as a fan, you know, like I said earlier, I grew up in Altoona and Pittsburgh, and I can remember going to the Civic Arena multiple times.
Altoona, Pennsylvania,
Yes,
the
sir.
Jaffa Mosque.
My man, where my love affair started was at the Jaffa Mosque, being a young kid going there. But going to cards at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, I would notice that Triple H was losing to Savio Vega every time they come to town, and then Triple H starts getting paired up with Shawn. Now, not knowing, back then we knew nothing. We didn't have the dirt sheets internet. I'm like, and I'm a huge Shawn Michaels fan. And I'm like, why are they putting Shawn with this jobber, man? It started to annoy me when
You weren't on the inside.
We
Like,
weren't
you
on the
didn't,
inside.
you didn't get all the fucking
you don't know that they're
newsletters
friends.
and all that
Yeah,
shit.
you don't. And I don't even think the curtain call was that widely known, because remember, you get Pro Wrestling Illustrated or something, it'd be 3-4 months behind when you'd see what happened. And all I know is this guy kept jobbing to Savio Vega, and now you want to put him with HBK?
Yeah.
I was like, come on, dog. What is going on? And then, you start to learn. And then later on, you realize, oh, this was Paul having to eat crap sandwiches for what happened. And
he did it, man.
And he did it.
Fucking, I mean, he got through it, obviously. And look at him now.
And
He could have said, fuck this, I'm out of here, and gone with us, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think he didn't? What is it about him that let him go, all right, I'm going to accept this as long as there's something better for me at the end of the road?
Paul is a guy that, like, is not many people better at playing the long game than fucking Paul is.
A word.
Yeah. Like, he sees, he has a
Cerebral
destination
assassin.
point, man, that he's going. He has a goal, and he sees where it's at. And getting through that shit he had to go through was the path to get there.
Right. So he took it.
It's just like all the crazy. Oh shit,
you're good.
It's just like all the crazy stuff, like with Vince coming back and then Paul being gone. Paul just stayed the course, man.
Yeah.
Now
That's where I want to go.
Yeah.
That's how I get there.
Now he's the fucking man, right?
Right.
Could you ever envision that?
I totally envisioned it. Absolutely. Without a doubt. Exactly.
In
Like,
those
honestly,
car rides, you could see, like, this is the guy who should be running things.
more so after DX.
Okay.
Not in the early car ride, not before we all left and went to, but like, it was obvious to me when I came back where he was going eventually at some point. Because he was already, when we were doing DX, he was already really involved and creative and things like that.
That's what's up.
And had Vince's ear and had Vince's confidence.
Now that Paul in the doghouse, did that not give us 316?
That was the other thing. It's like you took something awful, but if that curtain call doesn't happen, we don't get Austin 316.
Yeah.
Who knows where this business is? Paul still got his later on. It just took a little bit.
Yeah.
But because of that, now Steve Austin is now made a star. So it's kind of like,
That's a butterfly effect right there.
You took something bad, and at the end of the day, everyone kind of benefited from
Everyone
it.
did. Yeah.
Now, obviously, you can't think about DX without thinking about a Tank. So that going over to WCW and that havoc, take us through that. And then I have a quote from our friend Eric Bischoff that we had on the show about that. So, yeah.
So like that's like the legend is that we showed up in WCW on a tank, but it was just a Jeep.
It's a Jeep with a
Hollister Canada. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if you know about the story about when we actually shot that thing off.
No.
It was like poof.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, because we built it out here, fired the first shot. And it was like ping. And it was like,
you famously, you go up to where WCW is, knock on the door, the whole nine. And my man TJ brought that up to Bischoff. And Bischoff says that he was in the ring while this is going down, and in his ear, he's hearing the WWF is here, the WWF, but he's in the middle of a segment, so he can't do anything about it right now because he has to push the story that he's doing along. He says that if he had 60 seconds prior to know about it, that he would have opened those doors. What would have happened if those doors?
I have no idea. Like, we would have made something happen.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see like a real brawl, but I could see you guys like make, like you said, something magical would have happened, right?
Like, what's the thought of like, what if they do open?
And like, it's better we didn't get in there. But I was all about getting in the building, and I just had no. We didn't really have a fucking plan at all going into that. Honestly, man.
We're just going to pull up to the
we'll
door.
drive around, and then, because like I'm going, we should go to the fucking tunnel first. No, let's go. Like,
well, Sean,
we didn't even, like, we were just fucking playing it by ear.
Sean, can we set this up for, again, I like to involve people who might not know. You're at is it Norfolk, Virginia?
Yeah.
Where this happened at the Norfolk Scope? Or
that's where we went. That's where WCW
WCW, WWE,
and we
both
were in
in
like
town.
Hampton, or I can't remember where the fuck we were.
Pretty much the same city, more or
Like
less at the same day.
90 minutes away.
90. Okay, I didn't realize it was that far. So you wait a second. You went you drove an hour and a half. That's insane.
I mean, it was like over an hour for sure.
Yeah.
And then we hightailed it back, you know.
And you still made me.
Because I'm like, dude, whatever. If they take it, like they try to arrest us, don't let them get the fucking footage, right?
Yeah, right.
Because we're fucked, you know. And somebody had the footage and like,
you know, one of the
switched
greatest.
the fucking tapes and shit just in case.
Yes, had to do that. You know, I've been in production before, so we did a Kanye West Punk. I used to produce Punk back in the day, and it was one of the same things. He was shooting a video for Jesus Walks. And we had a guy who was LA Film Commission and basically said they were shutting down his video because he didn't have permits. He goes, "You're trying to make a video about Jesus on Sunday and you don't have permits?" And so it was like we were trying to take the film and then they were trying to swap the film. But yeah, so I mean, I think it's one of the greatest what ifs in history. And if O'Shea, maybe we should write that movie. What happened on that day?
WCW opened the door.
Elephant doors went up, and then DX drove. I mean, that is the greatest what if, not the greatest what if in wrestling, but it's got to be top 5 what if. Like the magic that could have been made if those doors would have opened.
Well, just how things turned out ended up being like one of the. I mean, the Razor Ramon moment is my big moment, right?
Yeah.
But that's like the second one.
Yeah. That's a good one.
You know, like I've been involved in some pretty cool moments.
Well, I mean, you're a 2-time Hall of Famer. I mean,
but just like the things that I've been there for and like that. And just when we went to the CNN Tower shit was just almost as funny.
Crazy.
Right?
No, they're expecting us. No, yeah.
And then the fucking guy, the vice president, comes down and goes, "DX, I love those guys. Give them all access."
That was real?
Yeah, Dick Cheatham.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
He fucking he told them because they were just kicking us out. He goes, "No, give them all access."
Wow.
Yo, you guys just went out and did your thing back in those days.
And then like, you know, we aimed the cannon at fucking CNN Tower and shot the cannon at and like, you know, put like the graphic up like we blew the fucking CNN Tower. Imagine doing that shit now.
Yeah, no, that's a straight threat. Straight threat nowadays.
Well, we talked about this. Let's talk about NWO.
Yeah.
You left WWE. Kevin, Scott, they're already there. They're already NWO with Hogan. How did you get involved in that group?
Well, I was most likely I would have been the first one to have jumped. I was the one that kind of set that whole thing up when I met Barry Bloom out here for the first time. You know Barry Bloom, the agent. He was all our agent.
Okay.
He's still like agent for a lot of people getting them big money deals and shit. But I came out here. I was like recuperating from an injury, and I wanted to meet Barry about doing some movie stuff. You know, I had no idea. I was never thinking about leaving WWE. Anyways, I met him, and he goes, "Hey, by the way, WCW is spending a lot of money right now to get talent." And I thought of Scott, And then we called Scott from Barry's office, and that started all that shit rolling.
Oh, really? So, okay.
Yeah, but my contract rolled over. And I didn't know when my contract was up, so it automatically rolled over, so I was fucked.
Oh.
Yeah, I was in the doghouse.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I was going to come in like at Road Wild and Sturgis.
Okay.
And, you know, let me backtrack a little bit. The rehab I was telling you about when the curtain call was going on,
yes.
I got out of there and, you know, like about a month later, Vince called me and had me come in and he's like, hey, if you want to stay, you got to like do the fucking doghouse thing like Paul did.
Paul did, yeah.
You know, but if you want to go work for that billionaire asshole, this is his exact words.
Oh my God.
Be with your friends and get a better deal for yourself. Like, I'll let you out. I'll give you a week to think about it. And I knew right away. You know? Yeah. But it was still one of the hardest things I ever did to tell them, I want to leave.
Sure. Right.
Because you were like fucking family or like in the mob almost, man. It felt like. So, yeah. So I went down there. I did that stuff with, you know, my intro, like my debut on WCW was it was just like stood up on a chair and had this like remote control and I hit the button and like all these flyers came down from the ceiling.
Right. Okay.
It was just kind of like, whatever. But I was in. Yeah. And I was in NWO.
Right.
And it just, you know, knew how to get over from WWE, right? And you go in there and like they just give you the ball and let you run with it. It was easy as fuck, man.
Now you told us backstage, but I just want the people to know.
Yeah, man.
That it was some inspiration during the NWO times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all like I don't want to say it all.
Yeah.
But a bunch of that was shit that we took from West Side Connection.
Yeah.
Like you'd hear us say, bow down when we come to your town, and just all that shit, you know? The attitude, all of that. We fucking stole that shit.
Because you could tell there was a heavy hip hop.
We appropriated the fuck out of it.
You could tell there was a heavy hip hop influence with you guys, with the bandanas, the FUBU, Kevin always rocking for you guys with the Jordans and. You know, Kevin always saying Thug Life and throwing up the dub.
Yeah, I had Thug written on my fucking on my stomach and Notorious written on my ass.
See, so when you told us it in the back, we were like, we laughed and was like, what? And then you were like, think about it. Yeah. And we thought about it. It was like, oh, right. Yeah. Because everything you guys did was.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So West Side Connect.
My dad's going to love that story. Yeah. That's awesome.
I mean,
Tell us about the house show music you were.
Oh yeah, the Gangster, the Killer, and the Dope Dealer at the Forum.
At the Forum
So
was
legendary. You know how that starts out, right?
Yeah.
Gangster, the Killer, and the Dope Dealer.
And I got back and I got my ass fucking reamed. Because you know the language in that.
Yeah, it was rough.
So you're in Inglewood, California, at the Forum, right down the street. We're 15 minutes from there. Yeah. And our last episode, we talked to Liv Morgan about house shows and how the performer gets a little bit more freedom.
Yeah.
So you use that freedom to use West Side Connection as your theme song going.
Well, I'm in fucking Inglewood.
Yeah, you gotta hit it. You gotta hit it.
What the fuck? Oh yeah, it was great. I loved it. It's one of my favorite things I've ever done. And then I went out and I had a really good match with Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
I beat him, but then Chris Jericho came out, and then I dropped the cruiserweight title to him. Oh, it was the shittiest way anyone's ever fucking won a belt. Like, I feel really like guilty about how like shitty I fucking handed that belt to Chris Jericho. We talked about it. So. Anyways,
that's awesome.
That is incredible,
bro.
Yeah. West Side Connection.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. A question that we ask every single guest that comes on here, man, and they would kill us if we didn't ask you.
Can't wait.
Situational question. Oh, should we make it no Kliq?
Yeah, because look, if we give, make it.
Yeah, all right. So it's a situation. You're at a bar. It's 50 dudes in the bar,
Hating on
and
you.
they are hating on you. They do not want you in there. Now you can't pick the Kliq because that would be easy. So I need you to pick a team of 4 other wrestlers to team
From any
up
time
with you.
period.
Yeah, anytime to team up to make sure
get
you're
you
getting
out.
to the car.
Well, some happened. And fucking,
I'll tell you the
He goes,
story.
no, this really happened.
yeah. We were in Moncton, like it's like up in the Maritime, Nova Scotia, all that area. Moncton, is the name of the city, and we always went to this place called Ziggy's. It was the club in Moncton.
Yeah,
This in Canada?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
yeah, and they didn't like us in there because, like, you know, the girls were paying attention to us and all that. And I don't know how it popped off, but like we're outside and there's like that many people, and there's just us, me and Scott and Kev, like, you know, Sean.
Oh, yeah, no, it's got to be the Kliq.
You know, and,
Right.
and then like, so we're out fucking numbered, right? And then all of a sudden this fucking black caddy rolls up, fucking, and out gets Yoko, fucking Kishi, like Taker, like the BSK guys, right?
Okay.
And then motherfucking everyone just scattered. They just said, fuck it. Yeah,
So
we
the Kliq
don't
and
want
BSK.
So this really happened. Yoko,
Really
you know,
happened.
Hey, that's the
Rikishi.
best answer we got.
Was the Godfather with him too?
Yeah, Godfather too.
Okay,
Of
so-
Oh
course.
my God.
Yeah.
So you and the BSK.
Yeah,
If you
the
couldn't pick
Kliq and the
Kliq,
BSK.
Hey man, yo, that works.
Bro, that worked out. Hell
You
yeah.
were like, it really happened.
Yeah, like, what you
For
mean?
real.
Yeah, the question is based off me.
Yo, that is crazy, man.
Yes. All right, one more because we're running out of time. But something else I'd like to ask because you're a fan of the business. You've seen it from the outside point of view, the inside point of view. When was a time that, as a fan, wrestling broke your heart? Whether that be a decision that was made or a title being lost, or when did wrestling as a fan break your heart?
Come on, man.
Bro, I can't just give you softballs, man. We got to get you that deep
I told you it was
shit.
gonna be kind of easy.
Yeah, man. We've had people talk about the Undertaker streak.
Yeah, but his would have been way before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to, when did wrestling break that heart, man?
Man.
I'll give you one, Sean, because I'm a little bit older than him.
Yeah.
One
He's
of
a
my
lot of bit
early,
older.
lot of bit actually. One of my earliest memories that wrestling broke my heart is watching my very first favorite wrestler. When I first started wrestling, I only got maybe a year of him as champion, was Bob Backlund. So to watch the Iron Sheik take the WWF title from Bob Backlund, and I'm this little itty bitty kid, and I can't figure
Yeah.
out like a towel getting thrown in, and I thought Bob Backlund was the greatest, and I was.
And Bob really fucking he really lost the world title. Like, to him, that was like one of the worst days of his life.
I've read.
And the way he sold, he cried. He really cried.
I've read
right?
Bob Backlund's book 3 times, by the way.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I can't name a specific thing, man, that where wrestling. I've been disappointed by wrestling, just like at times, and some of those times where, maybe you weren't watching either,
Right.
so I don't know. I don't think I've been heartbroken.
Man, you're
Just
the
about you.
luckiest guy.
Just love it.
Oh my God! When WrestleMania 17, when Vince McMahon and Stone Cold jumped The Rock, and it ruins my favorite WrestleMania ever. 17 is my favorite WrestleMania,
a good
and
one.
I can't watch the main event because I'm like, why of all people, Vince and Stone Cold?
When Steve turned heel,
Yeah, and I'm like,
yeah.
because number one, I'm rooting for The Rock. At the time, The Rock was my favorite guy, and when that happened, I was just like I love that pay-per-view so much. I love the build-up. I love like everything about it, and then it killed me as a kid.
I don't understand the thinking behind that.
Bro, I'm a sicko, I guess. Bro,
But
broke me.
come on, why did they do it? I can't.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
know
yeah,
if I
for
was-
that,
You
yeah,
would know better
absolutely.
than us. That's why we ask you these
Yeah.
questions.
Oh my
I
God.
remember, I wasn't heartbroken, but I was fucking dumbfounded by it.
Yeah, dude.
Wait, he's our fucking most popular guy. Like,
Yeah.
why the fuck do that?
Yeah. It's crazy.
X-Pac, 6-Pac.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Better faction. Because you are the only person that's still walking, rest in peace, Rick Rude, who was a member of both. So, I mean, Shawn kind of was NWO, but not really. Better faction, D-Generation X or the New World Order?
I could tell you my favorite,
Yeah.
DX.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we just had all that fucking fun that it looked like we were having. We were having it,
Yeah.
you know? And it was like
And your introduction to
every
DX
week,
was a lot
man,
better.
it was something cool, you know?
Yeah, you guys did your thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
When did
And
you-
we got to have, I'm going to tell you, one of my favorite things of all time that
Please.
was when Run DMC did our fucking
Absolutely.
theme music, bro.
Goated.
I
Yes.
was like, yes.
Yes,
Fuck.
that's awesome. Well, X-Pac, before we let you go, we'll let you know man, you must get sick of this, but we're putting you in the No Contest Wrestling Podcast Hall of Fame.
Put him
Just
in
so
there,
you can-
man.
Okay, I
Put
know
him
you're
in
probably
there.
sick of being in Hall of Fames because
No,
you're in
I'm
so
all
many.
right. Like,
So
do I get a ring?
Yeah, we'll
we're
work
gonna
on it.
get
We'll
you
work on
something,
it.
yeah. But when we get this built, there's going to be an X-Pac bus there, and we're going to have a little monitor, and there's going to be a tape played on a loop. Give me 3 Sean Waltman matches that define your career that you'd want to live forever.
The match with Bret.
Okay.
The stuff I did with Flair and WCW,
Oh yeah.
I hated him at the time,
Yeah.
but I was still such a fucking mark for Rick and like a mark for working with him, even though I fucking, we didn't like each other at the time. But it's a 6-man that Scott and Kevin I had with Piper, Flair, and Kevin Green
Oh right.
and
Okay.
Charlotte. Another match. There's a match I had with Eddie Guerrero, a ladder match. It's the only ladder match I've ever had in WCW and the sold out pay-per-view.
That one.
NWO. I don't know if that's one.
Yeah, the good partner
No,
in
you
that
know
one.
what, man? I'm going to throw that Action Zone tag match in there.
Yeah, dude.
There's a
That's what I
couple
thought you
tag
were going to say the
matches,
second
but
one. Absolutely, man.
There's a Owen Hart. There's an Owen Hart match on Raw. That was about 15-minute match we had. It was after the King of the Ring match. I might throw that in there.
Okay. Well, you have a lot of years of matches.
But we're going to make you a 2-time Hall of Famer so you can tell us some more later.
Hey, by the way, man, like you were talking about getting suspended in school. That's the number one thing people, when they meet me,
Yeah.
they tell me. Like, there's no second. Like,
Yeah.
there's
I got
no
detention.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah.
It's
Julian Edelman of the Patriots told me that he got suspended because of that, or detention because of that. Dude, Sean, this has been amazing, man.
I really had a great time.
Thank
man.
you so
Thank you
much,
so
man.
much,
We
bro.
would
This
love
means
to
I
have
don't
you
do
back.
this much. Like, I rarely do these anymore, but I was really looking forward to this.
Thank you,
Man,
man. We
thank you.
appreciate you. You're
Appreciate
always
that,
a guest at NCW. Make sure y'all check us out, man, next Wednesday.
No doubt.
Give it up for the great X-Pac.
Before he goes, I think there's one thing we need to move our mics and
Oh,
do
my God,
to
bro.
send everyone
Can I
off.
get one of these?
Can we get...
Oh.
Break it down.